All right, guys. Thank you for joining us again for a Flare Forward. We do have a very, very special announcement coming up right now with Thanos. So buckle up. This is going to be a ton of fun, and I hope you're ready for what's coming. Whale, man, let's hear you. Take it away, brother.
Awesome. Okay, so you guys announced that USDT0 is on Flare. Can you tell us what that is, please, Thanos?
Yeah, for sure. It's a pleasure being here back with Flare Forward. So I'll just dive into what USDT zero means for Flare. So essentially, USDT zero is what you as a chain will get, like as the closest implementation to a Tether deployment. So using layer zero contracts, you can move USDT zero one to one with Tether across numerous different chains, and it's backed by Tether, right? As in every USDT zero is backed by exactly one Tether, right? And so it's essentially the competitor to Circle CCTP, and it allows USDT's interoperability to get much better across various different chains. So if you look at Arbitrum, if you look at Optimism, if you look at Chain, all of these new chains that have come out recently and have actually been like their USDT has been deprecated in favor of USDT zero. So it's very much becoming the stablecoin of choice for many of these chains, and you can move it one to one across many different chains. And so, why I'm super excited about this is that it's going to make it a lot easier for institutions, for retail, for any Flare user to be able to send stables on Flare, move it across a bunch of different chains if need be, and it makes it easier for institutions to participate within DeFi as well. So I'm very excited, and it also opens uh, it opens many possibilities as to what integrations could potentially look like.
I was gonna say, so could you tell us like why Flare chose USDT zero?
Yeah, for sure. So USDT zero, I think, is an important partnership in Flare's history because uh, if you look at the way that blockchain as a whole is going, it is very much becoming stablecoin focused. And for that reason, as a chain, to have good liquidity and in an environment where people can participate like without major hurdles, USDT zero really brings that for Flare. And Tether itself is the largest stablecoin in the world. There's over $100 billion of it issued. It is by far and away geographically the most accepted stablecoin in the entire world. And for that reason, having access to a stablecoin that effectively is Tether on different chains, essentially, and like USDT zero has already started eating up into Tether's like actual supply. Obviously, it's just Tether, right? But USDT zero is like over 2 billion in total circulation, and I very much expect that to grow. And this now makes it easy for anyone who's holding Tether to come to Flare and participate.
Awesome. So, what does this mean for Flare moving forward?
Yeah, so USDT zero very much allows us to uh, to build a better experience when using Flare. Um, as I previously stated, stablecoins are very much the future of the way that chains are operating, and they are a necessary cornerstone of pretty much all liquidity on most chains. So a lot of the Uniswap pools will route through stables. There's mostly people will borrow stables against any assets on lending protocols, right? And so stablecoins and the accessibility to stablecoins and their interoperability to be redeemable one to one is extremely important. And for us, this is a major stepping stone for us to really push forward the uh, the accessibility to Flare.
Go ahead.
In that, I'm curious, can you break this down? Because some people might understand, like, well, why not just USDT? Why USDT0? Like, what?
Yeah, so
the
Tether
reason?
for the most part is really like they aren't doing native implementations because the overhead becomes really, really difficult. Um, and so USDT0 is essentially their way of being able to get Tether across various chains, and not have to do native deployments for minting and redeeming.
Awesome.
And then what happens to the USDT that we already have there, the bridge? I have some USDT loaned on Kinetic. Is
Yep.
there a way to swap it in for the other one, or
Yes.
they're gonna go both live simultaneously?
Yes, for sure. So as a part of this USDT0 launch, we are very aware that people already have USDT Stargate, right? Which is technically a separate token. To ease the transfer of liquidity, we have a contract set up that allows people to swap 1-to-1 USDT Stargate to USDT0 directly on Flare. This will be available on SparkDex, Flare Portal, and potentially Gnosis as well. And people will be able to swap their USDT for USDT0 and then can go participate back in those DeFi ecosystems. So there is some hurdle and some migration of liquidity that is going to happen. We are very much aware of that. That being said, I think that the benefits of what USDT0 bring to Flare are very much worth that, especially as we are still very early in Flare's DeFi ecosystem and just our journey as a whole here as a chain.
What about Kinetic? Is there a way to migrate to USDT0, or do you have to start a new market completely?
So USDT0 will have to be a new market because it's a new token. So they the deployment of USDT0 is a new token contract address. So therefore, there has to be a migration of liquidity, unfortunately. That being said, we're doing everything we can to ensure that people have an easy way. There's like various different ways. The easiest just being swapping your USDT Stargate for USDT0 and then engaging in the new market that'll exist on Kinetic.
But both will persist in Flare for a while. Like, it's not like we have to rush to swap out of USDT.
That is
Start.
correct. Yeah, the foremost important thing here is that your money is never at risk. USDT Stargate will exist on Flare for the foreseeable future until we can turn off deposits of USDT Stargate and it's just USDT zeros incoming. And then USDT Stargate will slowly deprecate over time. And we will never not allow it to be redeemable. So you will always be able to swap it if need be. And on top of that, with Stargate's Hydra and how Layer 0 contracts operate, you will always have the ability to redeem that, taking it to a different chain and getting Tether or USDT0. So, like, no one's money is ever at risk. We will be winding down incentives on USDT Stargate pools, so people will naturally pull out from those pools, and then they'll start participating in the new pools that are incentivized. That being said, no one's money is ever at risk, and that's first and foremost like the most important thing.
So now you said a magic word, which most, Flare community members love, institutions. So what does this really mean for institutions and how does it really open up or kind of get more interest from them?
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, Flare is a blockchain, and you guys will be able to see what the institutional side of this is really going to look like. We've been speaking with a lot of capital partners that are very excited about USDT0, and we are looking to bootstrap liquidity for the long run on Flare, of which we've been speaking to a lot of capital partners about as to which places they would like to deposit and if they are interested. So you guys will see some decent growth, hopefully, over the next couple weeks, and then hopefully the next few months as well, as we continue those relationships with the capital partners and institutions that are participating in Flare's on-chain economy.
Awesome. That's very exciting. Thank you so much. And then there was a lot of speculation of which what's going to be the new stablecoin on Flare. Many people were speculating that it was maybe RLUSD or the CCTP USDC. Can we expect those at some point in the future? Do you have any plans for that?
Yeah, so the thing about RLUSD is that I think Flare is still very much open to having RLUSD. There's certain things around NYDFS that has has made us not hesitant, but we are aware of very much like the rules around that, and we want to tread it carefully. So we are still open to having RLUSD. There's always space for new stablecoins, and I think potentially we can introduce it in the future. But for now, in terms of distribution and the reach that USDT0 gets us, I think USDT0 is currently the correct way for Flare to really build on our liquidity and our on-chain ecosystem. Currently, I think it is the best option for Flare. I think maybe in the future we can definitely consider RLUSD, but there's certain things that we have to be considerate of before we just start bridging stablecoins around like that.
Some people, what is NYDFS?
Yeah, so it's it's essentially like the New York like financial like regulatory regime that has like these specific laws around how stablecoins should operate. Uh, so there's BitLicense, which in New York, it's a New York only thing, and BitLicense essentially is needed by all of the exchanges, and it imposes specific ways that you need to operate an exchange, and it's a very expensive process to get and extremely like time consuming and it's honestly expensive to keep up as well. NYDFS is just the New York financial like regulatory rules around like stable coins, or it's the it's the group that oversees how stablecoins should be operated. And as a part of that, bridging stablecoins is still a little bit uncertain or unknown. So like USDC and Tether are actually not NYDFS regulated stablecoins currently. USDC used to be at one point. I believe it's not. And Tether is not either. Those are the two biggest stablecoins in the space, both not technically seen by NYDFS, which is totally okay. I think that rules will change in the future, and I think it'll be I think that they'll have more clarity as to what taking certain stablecoins to different chains looks like in the future.
That's very exciting. All right, Thanos. So last time we talked on the interview with Hugo, you gave some alpha and people were super excited. Do you have any other alpha for us for the next few weeks or months?
Yeah, so I think last time with you guys, I egged on a partnership that was coming, and it very much was this partnership. I think USDT0 is um like it's just a monumental like it's very much the beginnings of what I think is going to be like hyper growth on Flare over the next 6 months. It is a monumental like milestone in Flare's history for us to get a stable coin of this caliber, uh, and for us to really start pushing forward integrations more broadly. I think USDT0 is going to unlock accessibility that will really help Flare in the future. And if you think about like what the core of Flare really is, it's F assets and the ability to be interoperable with these non-smart contract assets, specifically FXRP, which we've talked about a lot, right? And so building interoperability not only from, let's say, Ripple or XRPL to Flare, but building it also beyond is a very important thing to us. So so this is very much like what I was alluding to, I think, last time. I like obviously I'm very excited about what's to come. I think over the past few weeks, we've been working very hard to ensure that we have a good launch and a decent experience for users as USDT0 launches. I think moving forward, a lot of it is going to be very much focused on product. And I think over the coming months, there's going to be products that we've talked about at Flare for a very long time that you potentially will see on Flare. And not even potentially, like you will see those products on Flare over the coming months, and it's been talked about in Flare's history a lot, right? Like F assets, the FTC, a lot of the things that we've been focused on building, I think will really start to come to fruition. And as Hugo says, you wait for a bus doesn't show up for weeks, and then all of a sudden there's 6 buses at once. And I do think that's really what this summer is going to be like. So Flare summer forward, I guess, right?
So now I'm really curious, right? Obviously, Flare does a lot of incentivization. So is there going to be a need to incentivize USDT0 or
Yes.
nice?
Yes. So we have a boost program that's going to be running. That program is outside of the FIPO9 incentives that are going to be allocated to people who want to participate using those stables. So stable rates for a certain period of time are going to be heightened for people. So I mean, if you put money in a bank, this is like way easier, and the rates are going to be way higher, right? So it's honestly a no-brainer. And when we are building Flare, I think one of the most important things to me is that I care about the community wanting to participate in things. I'm not here to give capital partners and people like a free lunch or just like an inside deal like ever while participating on chain. So to me, that very much means that everyone gets an opportunity to participate during this boosted or heightened period of stablecoin rates, right? Now, not these rates can't last forever, which is totally okay, but it very much is a crucial part of bootstrapping stablecoins on Flare. After that, as we had FIPO9 last year, which has bootstrapped almost all of our liquidity on chain, uh, we are potentially thinking about what longer term incentive programs will look like. So I very much expect rates on stables to come down and rates in certain other places maybe to come down, but we're very much focused on the longer term. And then once we get new incentive structures in place, I think that we'll kind of see where where the ball kind of lands as to like how rates like how rates on Flare really like react. And now that I think that post USDT0 will have a lot more capital partners that'll be hawking those rates. So I think it'll become much more competitive in a good way, right? Like people will like institutions will want to participate on Flare in a good way. Um, and unfortunately, like Flare is a gem, and the rates have been really good up until this point because a lot of people like care about Flare and like know about Flare, and I think institutions um, for on-chain liquidity have been participating, but that level is like really going to be taken up a notch over the next like 6 months or so.